Hello there, it's Sean Hampsey again with a continuing story of the Bobby Sands letter from the maze. This is part 3. You may well ask, why direct action? Why sit-ins? Why freedom marches? Why the blanket prison protests? Isn't negotiations a better path? You're quite right in calling for negotiations. Indeed, that is the very purpose of direct action. Non-violent direct action seeks to create such a crisis and foster such a tension that a community which has consistently refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue. It seeks so to dramatize the issue that it can no longer be ignored. The whole world in general has to sit up and take heed of what is happening in faraway little Ireland. It needs to be drawn to their attention, the suffering and degradation the Catholic and Republican people of Ireland are going through, even to the point of death. My citing the creation of tension as part of the work of the non-violent register for sisters may sound rather shocking, but I must confess that I'm not afraid of the word tension or death, for we as people have lived with this unhealthy situation all the days of our lives. Tension and death, although not related to us, have become our companions and sit with us in the marketplaces and even accompany us to our beds in the dead of night. I once earnestly opposed violent tension, but there is a type of constructive non-violent tension which is necessary for growth. Just as Socrates felt that it was necessary to create a tension in the mind so that individuals could rise from the bondage of myths and half-truths to the unfettered realm of creative analysis and objective appraisal, so must we see the need for our non-violent protests, although you may accuse our actions as violent towards ourselves. Nevertheless, it is a non-violent protest as it physically harms no one but ourselves. We must create the kind of tension in society that will help men rise from the dark depths of prejudice and bigotry to the majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood. The purpose of our direct action in the form of starving ourselves is to create a situation so crisis-packed that it will inevitably open the door of our prison cells to the whole world in order to force the authorities to the negotiation table where at least future generations of Irish can live freely within their God-given right. I therefore concur with you in your call for negotiations. For far too long has our beloved province of Ulster been bogged down in a tragic effort to live in monologue rather than in dialogue. We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Frankly, I have yet to engage in a direct action campaign that was well timed. In the view of those who have not suffered unduly from the disease of segregation, like the Berlin Wall and the Iron Curtain and all the other barriers that men set up to separate men, who in their hearts wish to be with their fellow countrymen, these walls will eventually crumble. They must. For years now, ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, I have heard the word wait. It rings in the ear of every true Irishman and woman with piercing familiarity. This wait has almost always meant never. And how many Irish men and women have gone to their graves with the whispering word of wait in their patient ears? We must come to see and realise the true saying, justice too long delayed is justice denied.